He's been taught the game the right way, and it's been no sugarcoating with the coaches that's put him in the position that he is in today.
Tension inside the Lakers organization might be way higher than people think after reports dropped about a heated practice involving Bronny James. Speculation spread fast about J.J. Redick's role and how LeBron reacted, and suddenly everyone had an opinion. What really went down in that gym says a lot about the pressure building around the team. The moment that lit up the internet came at a time when Bronny was averaging just 2.0 points on 26.9% shooting heading into November 15th, 2025. Those numbers were rough, the kind that usually bury a second-year player under nonstop criticism before December even hits. But Bronny isn't just any player. He's LeBron James' son, and that changes everything. Every cold stretch feels 10 times louder, and every small win has to be 10 times bigger just to get noticed. Then came Milwaukee, and things got real fast. The Lakers were on the road against the Bucks on November 15th, 2025, playing the second night of a back-to-back. The team was already dealing with injuries, which opened the door for Bronny in a way nobody expected. He got his first start of the 2025 to 2026 season that night, stepping into a lineup with Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, two of the most dangerous offensive players in the league. This wasn't an easy situation at all. This was straight pressure from the jump. The Lakers handled business, winning 100-95 in a strong team performance. Luka dropped 41 points, Reeves added 25, and Giannis still put up 32 for Milwaukee, trying to carry his squad. By all accounts, it should have been a great night for LA, but that's not what people were talking about 48 hours later. Instead, the internet locked in on a viral sideline clip where Bronny passed up not one, but two wide-open three-point shots. These weren't bad looks either. Luka created them with perfect playmaking, and Bronny hesitated both times. He either passed the ball or drove when the shot was right there, and J.J. Redick saw it clearly. And J.J. Redick did not like that at all.
For the first time this season, LeBron James played both games of a back-to-back, and he dropped 31 points, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists in the win over the Atlanta Hawks. And J.J. Redick, in his post-game interview, went off on people that go on TV and hate on LeBron.
Now, the clip people kept sharing came from a different game, but it showed exactly the kind of coach Redick is. He's emotional, direct, and doesn't hide how he feels, not even a little. And in Milwaukee on November 15th, what he felt was pure frustration aimed right at Bronny. Redick went off on the sideline, yelling at his young guard, "Bronny, you gotta shoot the ball." The moment was quick, but intense, and the cameras caught everything. The audio was clear, no confusion about what was said or who it was for. Within 48 hours, that clip was everywhere across NBA, Twitter, and YouTube. Posts from November 17th and 18th blew up, with captions like "J.J. Redick goes off on Bronny," and "Even J.J. is fed up." Millions of views poured in, and the reactions split the basketball world in half. One side said this proved Bronny didn't belong, while the other side called it tough coaching from someone who expects more from everyone. Even Luka showed frustration during those same plays, throwing his hands up after setting Bronny up for clean shots that never came. That detail made things even louder for critics who were ready to pile on. Now, it wasn't just about the coach anymore. People started saying even the franchise star was frustrated too. But this is where things really take a turn, because the headline of this story hints at something bigger than just a sideline moment. The internet tried to spin it into something dramatic, pushing the idea that LeBron James was upset and that there was serious family tension behind the scenes. The internet ran wild with it, pushing this idea of some locker room explosion, like a father stepping in to defend his son after a coach crossed the line. That storyline was too juicy for people to ignore, and it spread everywhere fast. But the truth is way more layered and, honestly, way more interesting. What really happened after the Milwaukee game says a lot about who Bronny James is becoming, what J.J. Redick is building in Los Angeles, and how his relationship with LeBron actually works. And that relationship, it looks nothing like the version people online keep trying to sell. Let's slow it down and really look at the full picture, because to understand that Milwaukee moment, you have to understand J.J. Redick and LeBron James the right way, not through loud headlines and quick reactions. Redick got the Lakers head coaching job in June 2024, and yeah, people were quick to bring up the podcast he and LeBron started earlier that year, Mind the Game. Critics instantly labeled him as LeBron's guy. calling him a puppet and saying he only got the job because LeBron wanted someone comfortable around him. But that narrative doesn't really hold up when you actually look at what's been said.
What can you tell me about JJ's culture? Like what him and the coach are trying to build?
LeBron addressed that idea himself on Mind the Game, and his response wasn't what people expected from someone who supposedly handpicked a yes man.
When you look at JJ's career as a basketball player, all the way from high school, he's been a winner his whole life.
He described Redick in 4 simple words.
He's gonna tell you exactly how he feels if you're not doing it right, but it's gonna be in a very stern but loving way.
Stern but loving. That line right there explains everything about the Milwaukee situation. This wasn't a coach losing control or stepping out of line. This was JJ Redick doing exactly what he's known for, being honest, direct, and calling things out when they're not right. And Bronny passing up wide open shots created by the team's best playmaker, that wasn't right at all. And here's the thing, this wasn't even new behavior from Redick. LeBron has joked about it before in interviews, even saying, "We know JJ is going to spaz out from time to time. For us, we need to listen to the message and not how he delivers it." That's not frustration, that's buy-in from a veteran leader who fully understands his coach. So who is JJ Redick really, and why does he coach like this? To get that, you have to go way back, because this style didn't just show up when he became a coach. It was built over years of being coached hard, being told the truth straight up, and never getting things sugar-coated. And LeBron knows that type of environment better than almost anyone.
He's been taught the game the right way, and it's been no sugarcoating with the coaches that's put him in the position that he is in today.
Think about it. LeBron has played under some of the toughest coaching systems in basketball, including Olympic teams, and he's basically saying Redick comes from that same mindset. No sugarcoating, no soft delivery. You either perform or you hear about it. Simple as that. And Redick isn't just talking, he's lived it. He even shared a story on Mind the Game that really shows where this edge comes from, talking about getting kicked out of practice back when he was just a high school sophomore.
He kicked me out of practice. He kicked me out of practice. I had no idea why the fuck he kicked me out of practice.
He even gave more context right after.
And I think he was just setting the tone for the season.
Yeah.
Like, wherever the fuck or wherever you think you are.
Sharing the exact words his coach told him as he walked out of that practice.
He kicked me out of practice, and the last thing he said to me when he kicked me out of practice, first day of practice, he said, "Best sophomore in the country."
And when he said it, everything clicked.
My ass.
I love that. I love that.
LeBron's reaction said it all. He loved it. That response makes perfect sense when you realize LeBron came up in that same system with coaches who didn't sugarcoat anything and pushed you hard every single day. When LeBron talks about those experiences, you can see why he looks at JJ Redick and doesn't see a pushover at all. He sees someone cut from the same cloth, not someone hired just because of podcast chemistry.
Setting the tone right away.
Best sophomore in the country, my ass, and kicked me out of practice.
Now this is where it all connects back to Bronny, because even before the Milwaukee moment, Redick had already explained what he looks for in young players and what separates the ones who last from the ones who fade out.
Coaches and veterans being able to get on them.
The first thing he looks for is simple. Can you actually be coached? Not just standing there nodding like you agree while ignoring everything, but really taking it in, getting called out in front of everyone, feeling that pressure, and still standing solid without folding.
And there's no snickering, there's no back talk, there's no all of that.
And then comes the real separator, the detail that decides who sticks in the league long-term and who doesn't.
It's just they almost look like, just keep on coming with it, because I want to see how much I can, I want to see how much, just keep on, because I'm absorbing everything.
When a coach or a veteran gets on you, what do you do next? That's the standard. You take it, you don't pout, you don't talk back, you don't run to social media with vague messages. You absorb it and you come back better. And this is the part the internet completely skipped over, because what happened after Milwaukee, the part that actually shows who Bronny is, didn't fit the outrage narrative people were pushing. It didn't spark drama. It didn't back up the critics, but it was easily the most important part of the whole situation. Let's walk through it properly. The viral moment happened on November 15th, 2025. By November 17th and 18th, it was everywhere. Clips, reactions, debates, the whole timeline flooded. The narrative machine was in full motion, pushing one clear message. Then right after that, Bronny was assigned to the South Bay Lakers in the G League for development minutes. To critics, that was all the proof they needed. In their eyes, he got called out, sent down, and that was the end of it. Except that wasn't the end at all, not even close. On November 21st, 2025, just 6 days later, Bronny stepped on the court and put up 15 points, shooting 5 of 10, along with 8 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals in a blowout win. 6 days. That's all it took for the same player people were clowning for hesitating on open shots to show real confidence and control on the floor. That kind of response doesn't happen by accident. That's someone who heard the message, took it seriously, and came back sharper. Exactly the type of response JJ Redick has said he looks for in young players. And Bronny backed it up himself in interviews after everything went down. He explained that he and Redick had real conversations about his role, saying, "I'm trying to focus now on bettering myself off the ball, have a 0.5 mentality, shoot the ball when I have open shots and try to get better at that." He also talked about learning how to play alongside high-level ball handlers like Doncic and Reeves, showing he understands the bigger picture. And most importantly, he didn't frame Redick's words as disrespectful. He saw it as constructive coaching. Now compare that to what the internet was saying at the time. 2 completely different stories. Analysts even pointed out that Redick using the G League as a development path instead of a punishment is actually what good organizations do all the time. It's just that when it's Bronny, everything gets louder and more dramatic. Redick himself made it clear he's pushing Bronny to be more aggressive while also trying to shield him from unrealistic outside pressure. And that balance matters more than people realize. Because that whole LeBron revolt storyline that took over social media, it wasn't built on one moment. It pulled pieces from a longer, more complex situation, stripping away context and stacking moments together to push a narrative that was already decided before the facts even settled. One of the biggest moments people pointed to as proof of tension came on December 1st, 2025, during a game against the Phoenix Suns. Redick looked visibly annoyed when LeBron was talking to the opposing bench in the middle of play while the Lakers were already down big. Cameras caught Redick calling a timeout, shaking his head and appearing to yell Bronny twice, which most people believed was just a slip when he meant to say Bron to get LeBron's attention. That was all social media needed. Clips started flying everywhere with takes like LeBron embarrassed his coach and LeBron disrespected JJ. The reactions were loud, dramatic, and way ahead of the actual facts. Post-game reports told a completely different story. It was described as a simple coaching correction. No fallout, no tension, no behind-the-scenes drama from either side. Just a normal moment in a long NBA season. But that version doesn't spread the same way online. Then things heated up again in late December 2025 after a Christmas Day loss to the Houston Rockets. Redick spoke honestly and said, "Since we've gotten Bron back, we haven't been as organized offensively. Too many random possessions. That's on me." That quote should have ended the conversation right there. He literally took responsibility in the same sentence, but that didn't stop people from flipping the narrative. Suddenly, videos were popping up claiming JJ admitted LeBron messed up the offense, completely ignoring the part where he said, "That's on me." The algorithm wanted tension, and it got it, even if it had to twist the context to make it happen. And then came one of the most misunderstood quotes of all in January 2026. Redick described his relationship with LeBron by saying, "Sometimes he tells me to F off, and he's right." That line got pushed everywhere as proof the relationship was broken. But if you actually think about what that means, it says the exact opposite. That's a relationship built on trust, where both sides can be brutally honest without it turning personal. That's not dysfunction, that's respect. That's 2 competitors who care about winning and aren't afraid to challenge each other directly. LeBron even explained that dynamic himself on the podcast, and it lines up perfectly with everything we saw in Milwaukee.
He's going to tell you exactly how he feels if you're not doing it right. But it's going to be in a very stern but loving way. Like, it's nothing, it's not how he says it. It's about how you accept it.
He compared it to his own experiences with demanding coaches like Coach K and his high school coach, Coach Drew.
You know, and if you take what he says, you know, or how he says it personal, then you're going to lose sight of the messaging.
That background explains everything. Because when you grow up in that kind of system, you don't take hard coaching as disrespect. You take it as part of the process. And that's exactly what Bronny did. He didn't make it personal. He didn't react emotionally. He took the message and got to work. And his journey started to show real results. By January 4th, 2026, the conversation around Bronny had quietly started to shift, not with loud headlines, but with real performance. That night, he dropped a season-high 20 points on 8 of 11 shooting, along with 5 rebounds and 7 assists, leading the South Bay Lakers to an overtime win over the Memphis Hustle. The official NBA G League account lit up, and even LeBron showed love on social media, pointing out a highlight dunk and saying there was different air up there. For once, the noise slowed down, and the game did the talking. And it wasn't just about the stats, even though 20 points on that efficiency is serious. It was about what it represented. This was a young player who had been called out publicly, sent to the G League, and instead of folding, delivered the best performance of his career. That matters. That's exactly the kind of growth coaches like Redick are trying to push out of their players. Now zoom out and look at the full G League picture, because that tells an even deeper story. Across the 2025 to 2026 season with South Bay, Bronny has been averaging 15.5 points, 2.9 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game. Those aren't empty numbers. That's not someone who looks lost or out of place. And it definitely doesn't look like a player who only made it because of his last name. Those numbers don't lie. They show a young player still developing, still learning his role, and actually improving step by step. This isn't someone stuck in place. This is someone building his game in real time. For context, go back to his 2024 to 2025 G League rookie season. Bronny averaged 18.6 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 4.8 assists over 18 games while shooting 41.9% from the field. So yes, the scoring is a bit lower this season, but the situation is completely different. He's been moving between the NBA roster and the G League, getting called up, adjusting constantly, and playing in lineups filled with high-level offensive talent. That changes everything about how you play and how often you get your shots. And the biggest factor, he's doing all of this under a level of attention that would overwhelm most players before they even got comfortable. His shooting numbers this season show real improvement in efficiency from the field, even while his three-point shot is still developing. That's a normal progression, not a red flag. Looking at his full G League run from 2024 to 2026, Bronny projects as a legit two-way player. His defensive effort is real, his playmaking shows promise, and while the perimeter shot still needs work, the foundation is clearly there. Now here's the part nobody really talks about. Bronny James is dealing with a situation no player in NBA history has ever had to face. He's trying to earn minutes, grow as a pro, and figure out his identity on the court, all while being the son of the most famous and most analyzed basketball player alive. And it doesn't stop there. He's not just in the league. He's on his father's team, playing under his father's coach, in a media environment that pulls him in two opposite directions every single day. One side is waiting for him to fail because failure brings clicks. The other side treats him like he can't be criticized at all because of who his father is. That's a no-win situation. There's no guide for this, no past example to study, no blueprint to follow. And still, by every credible account, Bronny has handled it with a level of maturity that even experienced veterans struggle to maintain. Redick himself said in March 2025 that he was impressed with how Bronny handled the outside noise tied to his last name. That matters. That's not hype from family or PR. That's his head coach recognizing how difficult this situation really is. But let's keep it real for a second, because the clickbait world didn't get everything wrong. It just got the story twisted. There are real tensions around the Lakers this season. They're just not the dramatic personal conflicts people keep trying to sell. Redick made that clear in December 2025 when he talked about effort and accountability, even saying the team at times didn't care enough to do the necessary things. That's not drama, that's a coach calling out real issues. LeBron's defensive numbers this season have also sparked real conversations. His defensive rating and net rating on the floor have raised questions about how the team works best, especially with new pieces in place. And speaking of that, integrating Luka Doncic into the system hasn't been simple. That adjustment has forced everyone, including LeBron, to rethink their roles and spacing. These are real basketball challenges. And JJ Redick is dealing with all of it in real time, with the entire world watching every move. Even Rich Paul, LeBron's agent and close advisor, addressed the team dynamics after a visible disagreement between Redick and Luka in March 2026. He called it healthy for team growth. Not negative, not toxic, healthy. That word matters, because people who understand how winning teams are built know that controlled conflict isn't a problem. It's often part of the process.
We have an obligation to try to make this work rather than this isn't going to.
LeBron has spoken about that mindset too. When it comes to systems, roles, and game plans, you don't quit when things get uncomfortable. You adjust, you commit, and you figure it out. And maybe the best example of that came from LeBron himself this season when he talked about what it means to play alongside Luka. Think about this for a second.
I mean, it goes without saying. I'm a Swiss Army knife, so.
A 41-year-old all-time leading scorer describing himself as a Swiss Army knife who spaces the floor and waits for his point guard to create. That's sacrifice. That's ego being put aside for the bigger goal. That's how championship teams are built. And at the same time, that's the exact lesson Bronny is learning on a smaller scale every single night.
A great point guard like Luka, who creates so many eyes around him. You know, one of the best things I can do is, slash in from that 45 degree.
LeBron is literally describing the same principle JJ Redick was yelling about in Milwaukee. Move without the ball, find your spot, and when the shot is there, take it. Father and son, same lesson, just delivered in different ways. And that leads into one of the most overlooked parts of this entire story, what LeBron actually said about Bronny's development when he was asked directly on the Mind the Game podcast.
No, it's been great, not only as a father, but just as a student of the game, to see someone kind of use what he was able to do last year in the G League.
He continued, and this next part really matters.
I was just super proud of him, of the maturation process of him being to not only play well at home and then have a back-to-back in a tough environment in Portland and then do it again.
Super proud. Not my son was disrespected, not anger about Milwaukee, none of that. He said he was proud of the maturation process, proud that Bronny went through something tough, took it in, and came back better. That tells you everything you need to know. And then LeBron said something that got completely drowned out by all the noise, all the clips, all the fake drama online.
And I think it's going to be the best, teacher for him to be able to go through these experiences and come out, the best way he knows how.
Let him walk through the fire. Don't protect him from hard moments. Let the fire shape him. That mindset flips the whole story. By March 2026, Bronny had rejoined the Lakers after putting together strong performances in the G League. In his NBA minutes this season, he's averaging 2.1 points in about 7 minutes across 32 games. Limited minutes, yes, but look at the roster he's on. LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, that's a loaded lineup. There are only so many opportunities to go around. Still, the development is happening. The work is being put in, and the growth is clear if you're actually watching closely instead of waiting for viral clips. JJ Redick has also been consistent through all of this. He's defended both LeBron and Bronny against outside criticism all season long. He called criticism of LeBron unfortunate, praised Bronny's work ethic, and pushed back on the idea that the team was treating him unfairly. That's not a coach in conflict with his players. That's a coach who believes in them and stands on it publicly. Redick even said it straight up in January 2026 while talking about LeBron at 41 years old. I've enjoyed coaching him at the highest level 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. That doesn't sound like someone dealing with drama behind the scenes. That sounds like respect. So the whole idea that this season has been some kind of fallout or family tension story, that doesn't really hold up when you actually look at the full picture. Now, if you made it this far, you already know there's way more to this story than what people were trying to push. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you're rocking with this kind of breakdown, and share this with someone who's been following the situation. Drop your thoughts in the comments too. What do you really think about Bronny's development and JJ Redick's coaching style? And I'll catch you in the next one.